you could be.
So I just watched you talk to Don Casanova, who's a big Mortal Kombat fanboy.
Yes.
And I think it's safe to say that you may be a Fable fanboy.
Dashing, skillful, and perfect of skin.
I am definitely a Fable fan. I don't know.
Words.
I don't know how much of a fanboy, but a fan, yes.
And you got to see Fable today. You got to
did.
see a little more than maybe the average E3 goer. So I'm curious, what are you thinking at this point?
Well, out of the gate, you know, for Fable fans, and I've said this before on different outlets, like this is kind of an opportunity for them to right the ship, and you know, somebody who's loved the original Fable, liked the second one, and then have been let down since then. This is kind of like the final straw. Okay, Lionhead, we get it. You've got Fable. You're trying a bunch of crazy stuff, but this is an opportunity to get it right, or I'm kind of not going to really pay as much attention. And you know, the thing with Fable Legends is that it's a different type of game, you know, and that's one thing that was really solidified for me today, is that it's not a next installment in Fable per se. It is more, it's a different type of game. It's not the Fable you know. It's set in the Fable universe, but it's really a different play structure, design.
What's it more like?
It's like a mini MMO is what it is. I mean, you quest with your friends. I mean, you can play the whole game single player, but it's up to 5 players. I mean, I guess Evolve completely evolutionized the industry, getting this 5-player thing now. But
That's funny.
Yeah.
So kind of like what the promise of what they had in Fable 2, where you could kind of play with friends, but it was never really fully realized. They're trying to bring that to fruition?
Well, in less, actually, because the way and the sense that I got from them wasn't like, you know, Fable 2, you're going through the campaign. It's an adventure, but it could be co-op, and someone can jump into your game, and you could kind of continue through your adventure. This is more like, here's an instance or a level, and they progress in a linear fashion, and you could either play it with 3 CPU, you know, controlled characters and a CPU controlled enemy, or with 4 other friends filling those roles. So it's like going on little quests in the Fable universe, where it's all about the heroes versus the villain, and that's it. That's the game. That is the game.
So even if you're solo, you're with CPU guys.
Correct.
So it is very different.
It's very different.
More than having a dog.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
more than just thinking, hey, this is a Fable game, and it's got like this amazing like single player experience, and if my friends want to join me, they can join me. It's not like that. It is kind of what I you know, the sense you kind of get from Assassin's Creed. Like, all the missions are going to be structured different, all the things are going to be structured different, because it's built around the concept of 4 players. And this game is built around the concept of, hey, I'm dungeon keeper up here, and I'm going to put up traps, and then the 4 guys try to stop him.
Did the cloud word get dropped at all?
Actually, it didn't. It didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, they didn't. We talked a little bit about Surface and the, you know, potential, which they told me it wasn't, you know, 100% confirmed right now, but the idea of being able to use that for couch co-op, where it's like, you know, that person's the villain.
The villain part seemed interesting. Did you get to mess around with that at all?
I didn't. I played on the hero side. They asked me if I wanted to be hero or villain, and of course,
someone was.
Ching, I said hero.
But someone was playing as the villain?
Yes, someone was playing as the villain.
So, but the villain can be either AI or human as well.
Correct.
Then.
Correct.
So, did you get a sense that you were playing against a human?
Well, it was interesting, and it was kind of fun, because when traps were sprung or like barriers would be put down, which is what the villain does, kind of try to keep or separate keep the heroes behind a gate, or like separate them out so it's easier to defeat them. But when things like that would happen, I was cognizant of the fact that it was being operated by another human, so I was like, oh, good one, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, he got me, kind of thing, as opposed to just like the computer doing it, you know, and like, oh well.
Did you guys win?
We did win. And I played the healer. You know, there's like 2...
So they're doing the archetypes even from the MMOs.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is what it is. And this is, I think, the thing they've slightly coy about. They're like, the next Fable's coming. And you know, when you look back on it, like, okay, well, they've actually been very clear when I look back on the messaging now, but it wasn't as clear leading up to it, that like, this is what the game is, you know?
Hindsight's 2020. That's interesting. That definitely does surprise me a little, even after watching all the stuff that I've seen come back.
Yeah.
I guess that's why, you know, getting it in your hands is always important to really see what the game's like.
And it played well. You know, it felt, for my particular character who was a healer, like, you know, I didn't really have any problems with the way it played. I mean, it was fun. The spells she had were fun. And, you know, I understood my role in us trying to achieve our goal, and I stuck with that role, and we were successful.
What were you guys actually trying to do?
So you're basically trying to infiltrate a certain area of this, like, it's a part of Albion, and, you know, you basically start, and then you go through, and then there's, like, a boss kind of thing. You have to take that boss down, and then you progress and do the same thing again. But you're avoiding traps. You're kind of taking down different enemies, different clusters of enemies, and it does require teamwork. And it, of course, has the Fable attitude and character. So, excuse me, like the final boss was this giant troll carrying another troll's head on a stick, and one of his defense mechanisms was that he would fart, and basically that area you could not enter, otherwise it was like poison.
So the ghost of Peter Molyneux is still in the game?
Yes, absolutely. But, you know, it's Fable.
So I still can't get a read on if you like it or not, or do you need more?
I think I need to experience a little bit more before I pass judgment. I'll say that I'm disappointed by the fact that it's not like the next Fable that's going to take advantage of the Xbox One and be the fulfillment of the promise of what Fable 1 and Fable 2 should have been. I'm disappointed by that.
Now,
but
if you were the healer, what were the other guys doing?
There was a ranged combat guy.
Okay.
And then, so there's like the two range, the healer and the combat.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of like the melee, and I'm not sure what the other guy did, to be honest with you.
Were you attacking at all, or were you only healing?
I was mostly attacking. There is one little way to attack. I'm sorry, mostly healing.
Oh, okay.
There is one little tiny way to attack. Yeah. Which is just like you throw this ice, like.
See, I hate that. I hate when the classes are so shoehorned.
It's pretty.
I like when things are a little more versatile.
There's like I couldn't. Here's
but
the
I like
thing.
healing too. I actually like that.
There's
role.
like if you press the Y button, like does this like really cool like ice blast thing.
Okay.
I couldn't tell how effective it was though. Like it didn't feel like I was being offensive. It still felt like I was being defensive in that I was trying to freeze everyone so that they could come and get their ass kicked by my colleagues. But
right.
But it was
colleagues.
Yeah, my heroes in crime. But it was fun and it looks good, and if I can just digest and absorb and be okay with the fact that it's something completely different than what I wanted in terms of being a next official entry.
It sounds like you want Fable 1 brought to 2014.
Yes.
And I think that would be great.
That's what I want.
Fable 1 was rough around the edges,
Fable
but
8,
for like
HD.
04 or 05, whenever it first came out, that game was fantastic, even though if it had some rough edges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you want, and that's one of the things with next-gen hardware. Like you want to see the fulfillment of something else, or you want to see how great was that. Like what if we just had a version that did more of it? You know, like you look at like Skyrim and stuff. It's like, yeah, we had these games, those were good, but now we can take it to a whole new level. Don't deviate from the formula, just make it more badass.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I even hate to ask, but you think the visuals? I really think the next gen stuff has been like a half step instead of a full step.
Yeah,
they look like great PC games from last year a lot of times. Where are you thinking in the visuals department on this one?
Well, this one it's kind of two questions because there's the approach to the art style and then the actual technical fidelity of everything. And I think in the art style department they realize that people want them to go back to their roots. It's a much more fantasy driven type of pre-Albion than what we knew from Fable 1 is what they're bringing to the table. So it has that distinctive kind of artwork and style. And as far as technically speaking, it looks fine. It doesn't look like like you said. It's not like, oh my God, that's like this is next gen.
Were there any
the ice and stuff looked awesome when
the spells? Yeah.
Yeah, the spells look. I was impressed by those. Yeah.
Were there any chickens, and did you chase them?
There are chickens. I did not chase them, but apparently you can have extended relationships with chickens in Fable Legends. Not those kind of relationships.
Oh, okay.
You could play soccer with them.
There's been a big animals theme with all of our hands-on and eyes-on so far. There's been sheep. There's been horses. There's been elephants. So now we can add chickens to the mix. So the legacy continues.
There you go.
This is an E3 of animals.
It is.
E-I-E-I-O.
It's because we're going wild.